Lost in a twisted world of perils devoid of heroism or pancakes, 3 adventurers discover a man who's lost everything, including his memories. Questing together to right wrongs and regain these memories, the party discovers they've secretly been living in a nightmare. Awakened in a world not their own, filled with wonder, beauty, and danger, our heroes try to piece together the truth of their reality and live a new life of pristine dreams. Formerly Hal, a human rogue tricked into a lone confrontation and killed by a knife to the gut, Nyx is the newly reincarnated Ifrit with a fear of meeting her former's fate. Raised alongside their cousin Salir by their abusive bandit uncle, Rinverhi escaped to a holy life of worshipping the sun deity Sarenrae. But are they truly worthy of the line? Orphaned and trained as a monster hunter with only a seemingly sentient cauldron at their side, Bran Gideon wonders if their years alone will see him become what they trained to destroy. A cloak bearing the symbol of a bear claw is the only clue to the forgotten past of the mysterious Kenopsia wormwood. Has their life been a dream all along? Leading our party through the realms of Dread and Beyond is our game master, narrator, and dream master, GM Chavez. Who trapped our heroes in this nightmare land? Why were our heroes really brought here? In the end, is it all just a dream? We'll find out together, right here, on Pristine Dreams. What's up, everybody? This is GM Chavez out here with Pristine Dreams, coming at you guys today with a brand new episode. So saddle up and get ready, because we've got some wild stuff coming at you today with our fabulous party here at Pristine Dreams. Starting from left to right, we've got Cipher. Say hello, Cipher.
Hello, my name is Cipher, and I play the rogue Nyx.
Hi, I'm Endo. I play Rinverhi Drahar, and he is a divine sorcerer and also a dream skin. Get ready to find out what that is.
Ooh.
Howdy. My name is Dusk. I play Bran Gideon. Also a dreamskin. Oh, he's a ranger too. Monster Hunter Ranger. Love him dearly.
Hi, I'm Juno. I play Kenopsia Wormwood. He's a paladin. He doesn't know anything about what's going on because he hit the ground too hard, I think. But that's okay. Yeah, he's also a dreamskin, but he's deep in it. What does that mean? I don't know. Watch our episode. Watch our show. Be a part of it. Get out of here.
If you yell at them, don't tell them to get out of here. They're going to leave.
No, stay here, because you're going to find out right
please.
now in today's adventure. Some exciting news for our viewers out there. First of all, we've gotten some feedback from viewers out there who are, they would like to see a little bit more of a streamlined playthrough, where I have been kind of mixing Pathfinder, old school D&D, some 3.5 and 5e, just mixing everything together for kind of a fun homebrewy game. We decided to go ahead and jump headfirst into the world of 5e and make everything 5e, just so it's easier for folks out there to follow along and follow in the adventure with us. So if you are new here to Pristine Dreams, we have got a little bit of recapping to do with, I don't want to recap anything. I don't even know why I said that. We're not going to do that. Do you guys need to recap anything?
Yeah, I'll take care of the recap. So Last time we did a whole bunch of stuff and things happened, and now we're different classes, and here we are.
Exactly. Boom. And we're done. Yep. So if you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, go watch them, dude. Like, don't start with this one. Go see the older ones. Or if you want to start with this one, dude, hey, welcome. It's going to be awesome.
Like, choose your own path. You can start here if you want, but you should go back later.
We encourage you to do you and have fun.
Exactly.
with that being said, this is going to be played in 5e. We've got a little bit of a game log below me here so you guys can follow along and keep track of what we're doing. We also bumped our characters back down to level 4 just to give the adventure a little bit more legs and a little bit more of a relatable feel to people who often start at lower levels. But this also plays into our narrative where our players, our party, have now found themselves fully engaged in a dreamscape, and they realize that this world is unlike where they have come from, and it is sort of a world that is made of people who might be dreaming, of people who might be awake. And in such, the party has discovered that they have secretly been asleep, and what they believe has been their real lives are mostly just dreams. But how much of those dreams are based in reality and how much is not is up for the party to try to figure out. So join us today on our adventure here as the party has just made their way into the awakened camp with Devlin, Dominiani, and Madame Rava and her brother Alexei, who have taken in the party because they believe they have a special importance that is yet to be revealed. So you guys arrive in the awakened camp, and before you, you see your good friend Devlin hanging out and beckoning you guys deeper into the camp and to come and sit by the fire.
He's beckoning us?
Yes. So if you'd like,
Thanks for moving me.
you could come and sit towards the
I
fire.
thought it was you, Juno.
Kenopsia. Yes.
No, that wasn't me. I don't know who moved me, but thanks whoever moved me.
No, that was me. Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
We'll sneak Nyx up a little bit too. Does Nyx not want to go up? Is that what's happening?
I was gonna say, like, does Nyx actually just stay back there?
This is normal for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
A feral cat looking ass.
Staying in the
Yep.
shadows. Yeah.
So he asked you guys about the adventure that you've been on, where you've been the past 4 days. What do you guys tell him?
Who wants to respond to him? I'm looking at Kenopsia. I mean, this is your
Bitch, okay.
Where's your man?
You're like, he's your boyfriend, man.
exactly.
It's true. He is my boyfriend. Kenopsia just kind of like steps over the log, and then instead of sitting on the log, he just sits on the ground.
Okay.
Fuck the log. He sits on the dirt. But he just. You want me to start at the very beginning after we were dropped off by a nice gentleman? And we'll gesture over to Alexei, who's like hanging out over by a tent somewhere. Or would you like me to bring it up to a steady pace?
Well, as much as you want to tell me, my dear.
Okay. I have to go. Okay.
So it's in lieu of recapping the whole adventure, just how much detail do you reveal? Do you tell them everything that happened in excruciating detail? Do you guys feel like there's parts of it you might want to leave out, or are you being pretty open?
I was gonna ask, like, is there any part of it that we want to exclude? Because I don't think Kay is thinking about holding back anything, but I don't know about the others.
Like Rinverhi is
do little group huddle and mushrooms again.
Pull their ass over to the mushrooms.
Devin like, so what happened? And then Kenopsia like, hold on, and then just turns around away. And
Kay goes to start talking, and Nyx is just like, Kenopsia, over here. It's just like, excuse me for 1 minute.
Well, Rinverhi is on team. What's there to hide?
Yeah, I don't think there is anything to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
Kenopsia will get into the nitty gritty. Essentially, just there was a nice town. Well, it was nice for 5 minutes until we got pulled into. What would the word be? Temporary sheriffs. I'll call us that.
I believe it was deputies. You were deputized.
Oh, deputies. Yes, we were deputized. Thank you, Rinverhi.
Of course.
Yes, we were deputized because the guard apparently couldn't do their jobs on their own. But we were recruited to look over a murder scene. Apparently, a nice young gentleman had been murdered in his home during the nice festival they were having. But nothing is ever simple. And originally, the man that had been murdered, we thought he had been brutally murdered by his cat, because the cat was a force to be reckoned with, I suppose. And he, as he like ponders back to the cat, he can just faintly hear it hiss in his mind, and he like shivers, like scary. What was her name? Like Miss Mittens.
Yep.
Miss Mittens.
Yes.
I'm scared of you. Yeah, undelighted shiver. But we were sent out afterwards to look into the toy maker's shop, because he had gotten their child. They had gotten a toy from a toy maker, a local toy maker. And so we go knocking on his door, and after being told, oh, there's going to be a puppet show, but there was no puppet show this year because he was apparently very ill. But he was not ill. He was just hiding in his shop. And how do I put this? I guess I can't. He accidentally somehow kept making. He just kept making little marionettes. It's like his voice is like wobbling a little bit, because as he's like recalling this, he's like, this is a fucking insane. This is a wild thing to be recounting to somebody else. This is a dreamscape, so it's like anything's possible, but it's like just like recounting it, it's just like, oh my god.
It literally sounds like telling someone else about a wild dream you had. It makes zero sense.
Literally. And he's just like, he's realizing this as he's saying it out loud, just like, he kept making toys, but the toys kept coming to life and were evil and wanted to kill things. And he made a wooden boy. He made a like a tall wooden puppet instead of a son, because he didn't have any real children of his own. And he was murderous, and was and we got turned into carionets. I truly, as I'm recounting this story, it gets more and more off the rails, and then he just stares at the ground.
I think,
and then he just lowers his hand.
When Kenopsia brings up and we were turned into carionets, from like kind of behind him, Rinverhi brings out the Rinverhi-net that he took with him, like just like this. He doesn't say anything, but just like holds it up. Like
just a little wiggle. Yeah.
He's practicing. Around. He makes it do a little dance.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Making it do a little dance behind his head. Yeah. And then we had to stab ourselves that were possessed by little carionets, because apparently they can do that. They just had the ability to take over your body and puppet it, and that was very surreal. And
yeah, they use these magical needles to switch their consciousness with ours.
Oh yes, very deeply unsettling to watch yourself be puppeted around by a thing that should be moving like a human, but doesn't. What it think should be moving like a human? That's its idea, or it was its idea. It's dead now.
Upsetting. It's very upsetting.
Yes. And then this was a dream of his the toy maker. He was trapped in a dream of his own. The whole thing was a dream. we were able to take care of the wooden boy. He'd been holding a bunch of children somewhat hostage in the local theater, trying to put on a performance and be an actor. To no one's surprise, he was not doing a very good job. Threatening to kill and waving a knife around at little children. That doesn't exactly give you the best audience. But after we dealt with the boy, we dispatched the old man. We told him, or I tried to tell him, that it was a dream. There was hope for him. I don't know if he heard me, truthfully, but he's no longer here. As far away from the dreamscape, I'd hope.
And you notice that
here.
You notice as you're kind of recounting the story that all of the other folks around the camp start moving in. Like after a while, they are hearing the story, and they get more and more interested in it, and they start moseying over and start listening in bit by bit. And there's
Everyone
lot.
Gather around!
Yeah,
Everyone gather around! Kenopsia's telling stories.
There's quite a few people here. You know, it's a big camp, and a lot of people are coming around the campfire trying to listen in and check things out. But Devlin and Madame Rava are like very intently listening to like everything you're saying, seeming very shocked at points and looking at each other. You know, Alexi too is seems very impressed, although he's not really like sitting with you guys. He's just kind of standing around. And
in those leather pants.
Yeah, with his leather whip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all kind of exchanging glances and looks back and forth, and they realize like, something here is up, you know, and you can tell they're kind of like, and then all of a sudden, one of the camp members that you guys had met previously comes kind of running in from afar. And we're going to throw him down here. Bam. And he just comes running up the trail kind of from behind where you guys were. And Madame Rava like stands up. I guess Nyx approaches him. Madame Rava stands up.
I was like, oh, Nyx is on guard.
Yeah, I
Nyx is
also
on guard.
That's why I giggled.
Yeah.
And he looks at Rava and kind of pulls his hood back and his mask down for a second. And she looks at him like, and he's like, he looks at the four of you guys. The city is gone. The village has awakened. And now everyone's like, whoa! They're like, oh my God, dude, that is crazy. Like, they can't believe it. And no one's really, like, they're not excited, but they just seem like, whoa, that's like ominous and weird and powerful. And that means something. So there's a lot of like kind of whispers among the crowd and ominous portents going around. So
Bran's gonna like turn to Madame Rava and just straight up ask, what does that mean?
So Madame Rava kind of sits in close by the fire and is like, well, there are many things yet that you do not understand about this dreamscape that you find yourself in. Probably less that you understand about its inner workings. But what you have just accomplished is what we have set out to do for decades, to awaken those who are caught here. Legends foretell prophecies most ancient of a group of warriors who would come to awaken the world once more. Devlin had his suspicions that it may be you, based on the cloak that Kenopsia wears.
Hey, like, looks down at the cloak he's wearing.
Yeah, Rinverhi's also looking over.
looks over at everyone else, just like with 3 audible question marks over his head. Like somehow you can hear it, even though he's not making any noise, just with the look on his face. Like, really?
So Madame Rava kind of turns back and she points to one of the wagons in the camp. And she's like, the symbol that you wear, it is the symbol that we wear. And you notice on that one wagon is a similar symbol to the one that's on the back of your cloak.
Let's fucking go.
Oh my gosh.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Now that you've noticed it and it's been
answers.
pointed out, you can see it back on this wagon back there. And it's actually hanging on that wagon.
Eye emojis.
And she proceeds to tell you, this symbol is an ancient one that we have used to represent who we are. Because despite what we have told you, we are the awakened. We are the few remnants of this world who have realized that we are in a dream, who are brought out of it by one way or another, but we cannot escape. So we band together, trying to find others, trying to save others, and trying to fulfill the ancient role of the awakened. Those who would wake everyone from the dreamscape and return them to the waking world. For as long as we are here, no time passes in the real world. We are all just prisoners in eternity. We learned about the awakened and their mission as it was passed down to us from others that we had met. Those kind of oral traditions passed from one person to another, they break down over time. And the centuries turn into millennia, turn into, we have no idea how long. But what we do know is that this power and this sleep that has been put on the dreamscape is so strong that it has put to sleep the ancient gods. The ancient gods themselves are sleeping. It is why you may have noticed that when you try to use magic or powers here, it seems sometimes wildly different than what you remember from the dreams you were stuck in. Now that you are awakened, you have to face the reality of the real gods who control everything. These ancient gods we know very little about. Who imprisoned them, we know even less. But we know that the Nightmare King is the one in charge now. And our best guess is that he was able to put the gods themselves to sleep. And our prophecy foretells that 4 travelers, born of the dreamscape, would arrive and awaken this world. We believe this is you.
No pressure then.
I was just about to say. No pressure, but
I know Nyx is in the background just like you know,
she's just like, man, fuck this. Whatever, man. Your problem, not mine. I'm out of here.
You guys.
Officer, you're not. I don't give a shit. So after that, Kay is just kind of sitting there, and he's just like, well, quite a hefty weight that is on our plate then. And he'll look over to his friends, the people he's traveled with, and he's gonna look back over to Madame Rava. And so, again, let me get this straight. Time does not move in the real world. It's frozen.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this? How long has this been going on?
We know there have been many generations of awakened, but too many to count.
My God. A long, long time then.
Yes.
How long have you all been here fighting this fight?
Well, we in the dreamscape, we still age and die. So the age we appear is the age that we are.
I see.
Well, Kay is gonna once again look over to his companions.
So you know, Nyx
this information sitting with you. Go ahead.
She's she's standing with her arms crossed and her feet, planted hip width apart, and she's like, yeah, pretty much like that, and she's just like,
Whatever.
Well, what about the three of us? We don't wear your symbol.
This is very true, which is why Devlin wanted me to check on each and every one of you. It is why I very much wanted to spend time with you, watch you fight, and kind of gather some information about you. And I know from the look of all three of you, the weird skin tone, the weird eye colorings that you have, that all of you...
I think they're fabulous!
Incredible.
That all of you are what is called dreamskin. Dreamskin is those who are born with special powers in the dreamscape. Very few dreamskin have ever walked into our camp. None have walked in wearing this cloak of the DreamWalker. You see, the symbol you carry is not just the symbol that we use for our camp. We chose it for a very specific reason. Because it represents the DreamWalker. A dreamskin who is so in tune and in touch with the dreamscape that they can bend its reality to their very whim. If this is true of you, then you would have such power. We would like to teach you how to wield it. Are you up for that, Kay?
Right. This
Kay is dissociating. Go on, go ahead.
This DreamWalker, do they still exist?
Devlin and I have never met one in real life before. We have only heard stories of them. It is why it was so important to retrieve you.
Were you saying, Dusk?
You said a dreamskin hadn't walked into your camp before? Is there any reason for that?
They're few and far between. It's very rare that people are attuned to the world around them. From what we can tell, these are the most magically gifted people in the realm. And we suspect that this magical connection is connecting them to a deity of old, in the ancient god, who is stirring in their sleep and granting power in hope that one of us mere mortals will awaken them as well.
What a gold mine we must be for you, then.
It is true. We are excited, but we keep our reservations at hand as well. To answer your compatriot's question, and she kind of gives Nyx like a little bit of a smile, like you can tell she kind of likes Nyx's bravado, their brashness. And Madame Rava says, to answer your question, each of you carry a relic, a totem that connects you not just to the dreamscape, but to a particular deity. We have seen you each with these items. The cloak that Kenopsia wears. Bran, the cauldron that you keep with you. The flaming sword that Rinverhi has. And the gloaming shard that you carry, Nyx. These items connect you to a most ancient of deity. One whose avatars throughout time have made them almost forgotten. If we can wake these deity, then we have a chance of awaking everyone.
Well, what's our first step then?
Well,
to being the alarm clocks to gods.
Devlin kind of chimes in at this point, and he's like, well, I'm glad you asked, because the first thing we need to do is have a séance. And we would like all 4 of you to take part in it with us. Madam Rava is very skilled at divination, and we would like to see if your futures are connected in the way that we hope.
A séance? So we're calling upon spirits?
We're calling upon the stars themselves. And Madam Rava kind of he gestures to her like, you explain this shit, dude. I don't know it very good. And you see her kind of setting up a little table, like she had walked back over to her wagon. And remember, from last session, it's all filled with kind of magic stuff and little relics and all sorts of things. So she's grabbing a few things out of there. And while she's doing that, Alexi has already been setting up a table, kind of near her, just a small little circular round table. He's putting a little velvet cloth on it and everything. And Madame Rava comes walking back out. And like I said, Devlin looks over to be like, all right, tell him how it goes. And she sits down and puts this crystal ball on the table. And she says, the ancient gods, they were masters of divination. They could look to the constellations and read the very fate of the universe. The cosmos themselves are said to be scripted. It is why we have such prophecies that tell us you would arrive. It is because in ancient times, the fates planned all of existence. And when the deities look into it and read into it, they can see what will before. Now, us mere mortals are not as gifted as the gods themselves, but as I said, some of us awakened and some of us that are dreamskin can tap into these ancient powers. My grandmother was one such person. She taught me how to read crystal and foresee the future. More so than this crystal connects me to these ancient deities and will help reveal secrets about the relics that each of you possess. Namely, which deity they are associated with. I do have an idea, but the crystal will confirm. So please, Kenopsia, if you would. And she kind of Alexi fucking sets down a chair, boof, you sit here, dude.
Okay, just he watches Alexi put down this chair. And Madame Rava gestures for him to sit, and he kind of does this cursory glance over his shoulder towards his friends but he doesn't linger for too long. He'll go and take a seat.
Rinverhi's oh, we're just getting right to it. Not going to start off
he's
a drink or anything.
No.
Nix is paying attention to the food on the spit.
I was wondering why Nick's beelined. I was for the fire? Oh no, for the rotating meat. Got it. Yeah.
Yes. The meats.
Yeah.
The meats.
Kenopsia, he will just whatever you say, and will go to take a seat. Crosses one leg over the other, sitting prim and proper, like a little Paladin boy.
How nice. So yeah, you come and sit at the table there, and one of the camp members, that guy that came in earlier, he moves around to Nyx and literally cuts off the ear of the pig. you know?
Ooh,
and he reaches
that's a
over.
Good part.
Yeah, and he hands it to you. It's got the little hairs sprouting on it and everything still, but he's like, here you go.
No, burn that off.
Nyx takes it and she's looking like right at him and just puts it in her mouth, chews, and swallows.
Nice. All right, and it's tasty. It tastes good as shit. Like these people know what they're doing. You know?
It should be crunchy too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's crunchy, savory, juicy little oils dripping down your mouth.
Yummy.
Rinverhi, I take it you're kind of eyeballing this. It sounds like you're like.
Oh no, Rinverhi is paying attention to the Séance. Endo, however, is like, I want to eat the fantasy meat.
Okay.
Meat.
Well,
meat.
Rinverhi, you do notice something flop against your chest, and you kind of look down unsuspecting. And one of the bandits has walked up to you, and he's kind of looking at Madame Rava and the Séance about to go down, but he's like pressed up against your chest like a wineskin because you said something. So he's like, yeah, here, dude. Like, I get it. The shit's about to get weird.
You're like surprised and then realize, oh, it's a wineskin. And like, he looks up at the bandit who gave it to him and just big smile. And pops it, is like, cheers. Yeah. And then he'll take a drink and then offer it back to the bandit to also share with him.
Nice. He kind of gestures like, hey, does anyone else want some, Bran or Nyx?
Nyx, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, pass it around. Yes.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Drink's a little longer than that.
So yes, as you guys are kind of like hanging out while this is going on, like they're getting set up with Kay, they're definitely starting to carve up food and pass it around and give you guys like a really decent meal because you hadn't really had one the day before. And for you guys, it's only been a day. Like they think you've been gone for 4 days, but it's only been a day for y'all. And it was a day where you didn't really eat much. So it's kind of the end of a long day where I'm sure you guys are a little bit tired and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a little bit of kind of like almost like party favor snacks. Like you're walking around, like no one's sitting to have a meal, but everyone's kind of eating and drinking. And there are noticeably people that are playing this music, right? Like they're out in the sides of the camp and they're playing it to kind of go along with like the seance-y vibe too, And Madame Rava is giving Kenopsia kind of instructions of like how to like lay the cloak out and everything so that they can look through the crystal, and they're taking a few minutes to do that while you guys are getting settled in. And
he's handling it very carefully. It's like he doesn't want to he doesn't want it to get caught on anything or tug. He handles it like it is literally like it is the softest thing in the world, and if it rips, God bless America, he will lose his mind.
Alexi is definitely like kind of helping you get it situated on the table, and he's being very ginger with it as well,
Yeah, I think he's a little like when other people touch it, he's just like staring at them, and he doesn't even mean to. It's just like he's just like very intense about this because it's like this is his only grounding thing, and if anything happens to it, God forbid. God forbid, please.
No worries. Everyone's taking real good care of it. And Madame Rava is doing some chanting, and you can see the ball itself like starting to get cloudy and warp and change, and flickers with different kind of lights as she does incantations. And you recognize clearly she's doing spell work and magic stuff. But go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
I would love to. Excuse me. That is a 16. Okay. On insight.
All right. I didn't see that pop up in the log. Is that?
I did. I hope I rolled it publicly because I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay, we got it now. Yeah, I think it just took a second for some reason.
All right, good. That's okay.
So, I'm actually just going to move this over to another window so I don't lose track of it. Oh, wait, nope, that
It's covering
fudged it all
Nyx's
up.
beautiful face.
I know.
There you are. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. I want to keep it more like that. There we go.
There you go. We're good.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep an eye on that. If it's not refreshing proper, someone let me know. So you've got the cloak laid out. She's doing the crystal. She does a little incantation. You do the insight check and you realize that Madame Rava is definitely like this is her wheelhouse. Like she knows what's
this
up.
This is her expertise.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
And she's enjoying. Enjoying the shit out of it. Like this, she's really excited, and both her and Alexia are treating that cloak with a type of reverence that is usually reserved for like religious iconography, you know? So it's a pretty big deal.
It is. Yeah. No, Kay can tell that, just like watching her face and, how she and Alexi both are being very particular about this. And it's clear that this matters a great deal to them. Obviously, it's a big deal that, this long ending, this era long, it's spanned over multiple generations, as she said, this curse of, everyone, even the gods being asleep. And now, there's a potential for that to finally be over.
Yes.
Of course it's a big deal. And Kenopsia can totally, understand that. And, in this moment, he's glad that she's able to take joy in something to look forward to.
No, for sure. And with
Kay is not looking forward to what's to come. He's so scared.
Well, with that 16, you can definitely tell that this is kind of like the most excited that you have seen Madame Rava be. Like they're kind of like a blasé person, but now they're a little bit like, it's very subtle, but you can tell that they're like excited,
Yeah, she's into this.
And so she's kind of moving her hand around the ball for a second, and her eyes kind of go jet white. And she starts telling you, the cloak of the lucid. It is a DreamWalker's cloak to help ground and connect you to the dreamscape itself, to pull its magic into its wearer. This cloak may look ordinary, but it will grant you the ability to change the dreamscape as you see fit. As you begin, you should be able to change the rocks and the earth around you, to mold it into something that it wasn't, or something that you wish it to be. More so than that, you will be able to harness this power to transform a creature of the dreamscape. In essence, everyone and everything is made of dream. This will help you shape that dream to your liking. This will take a toll on you and be a difficult task, but it will be something that if you use more frequently, you will learn how to use much more powerfully. Now, I will tell you, as a follower of the DreamWalkers and in Awakened myself, we are quite familiar with this symbol and who it leads to. It is the master that I serve as well. And she kind of like reaches her hands around both sides of the ball, and like her hands are like shaking, and the tabletop starts vibrating a little bit, and literally the sky around you guys, the campfire kind of flutters and gets low, and the sky just darkens around you, and you can't help but like peer into the crystal, and it's like drawing you in. So everyone else want to check it out too, I presume? Yeah.
Everybody should come look at this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you guys are kind of just standing around looking at it there. But
Rinverhi walks over with the wine skin in hand. he took it back. Yeah.
And you guys are transfixed by the ball itself as you notice that inside the crystal begins to move and flourish. And you see
Whoa. Oh. That's
Kenopsia full on weeping.
You're like, I just fell to my knees and cried.
No, definitely. Oh, I'm crying. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful.
And now this image is like in the crystal ball now. And when you kind of look at it from different angles, like it always looks like this, just beautiful and perfect inside there. And the little stars twinkle on it, and you can see the cloak kind of billow just a little bit. So it's like out of this world fucking cool, you know?
Oh, wow.
Madame Rava says, Asteria is the titan of the falling stars. This is a most ancient deity, older than most of the gods that we know by quite some time, although not quite as old as the primordials. The Titan were the second-born gods of this universe. As such, they hold tremendous power over both the physical realm and the abstract notions that come into play in our lives. Asteria has dominion over nocturnal divination. It is why she is the one that I follow, because it is with her power that I am able to read the stars, the crystals, tea leaves, or use tarot cards to divine the future. In this, Asteria, as I said, has dominion over nocturnal divinations. This leads even to the foretellings that we find ourselves having in our dreams. Because even in the DreamScape, we will have dreams of our own when we sleep at night. But those dreams are often filled with messages that are being sent to us by the fates. And those messages can be interpreted as followers of Asteria. Now, if you choose to follow Asteria and try to awaken this deity, much power will be offered by her to you. This will begin with you making an offering to Asteria. Do you wish to do this now?
Yes. He's like staring into the crystal ball, just kind of like looking at Asteria. And I think he feels like a little like wistful, just looking at her. You know, there's just this kind of like empty, like ringing sadness in him, and he's not quite sure why.
Aww.
Yeah, just something about it. Hearing all of this has been a lot for Kenopsia, but I think just like actually seeing what the symbol is tied to, who it represents, and you know what it all ties into, it lies in with Asteria. It lies in with her. And, you know, Rava's a follower of Asteria. So, you know, at the attempt to awaken her and possibly receive, you know, maybe even have her guide him through uncertainty. I think he's very interested in that. When you have no other leads, why not turn to divine worship? So... yeah, he just kind of lets out this breathless little, yes, I would.
And Rava kind of nods, like, glad, you know? Like, I don't know what she'd have done if you said no, you know?
Cry and scream and throw up.
She slides a hand kind of palm down on the table next to the crystal ball at you. And as she turns her hand over, you realize that there is a gemstone underneath it. You can't really tell if it's like, a topaz or a sapphire, but it's some type of really nice looking gem.
Right.
And she says to you, gemstones embody the building blocks of the cosmos themselves. If you wish, you can show your grace and the abundance of the falling stars by giving up gemstones in Asteria's name. This we took from you to help pay for our rescue. But I give it back to you now.
For our crimes.
For you to show your grace. And she kind of takes her hand off it for a second.
Okay.
And as she does, Rava's sitting there, and Alexei puts his hand out to you, like, give me that.
Yeah. He'll do it. He'll like pick up the gemstone and like look at it briefly for a moment. He's not gonna hold on to it. He's just looking at it, and then I'll hold it out to Alexei. Just my thanks for a most gracious rescue.
And he's about to take it, and he stops for a second, and Madame Rava's like, in her name.
In Asteria's name.
And then Alexei takes it from you. And as soon as he does, you feel this like waft, like this rush of air, like come over your body, and this weird tingling sensation, almost like when you get goosebumps.
Yeah.
And
I think there's like a very visible like twitch, like Kenopsia's head like twitches a little.
It's like you just drank a really cold fizzy Sprite. You're like, woo.
Right. Ooh, yeah. You know it, baby.
And Madame Rava's kind of smiling at you. And she says, with this offering, you have been blessed with the divine favor of Asteria. And I'm going to drop a token down there on screen for you to keep track
Oh my god!
of your
it's like
divine
a
favor.
This is awesome. I'm frolicking around right now.
And she says, this divine favor will be a gift from your deity, a sort of leftover power that they have, that now that you have made this connection with them, you can tap into. Being connected to the fates in all things, the awakened, when you have divine favor, you can use this for a brief foretelling, a brief portent of things to come. So when you want to use your divine favor, it's essentially like a free reroll. So something bad happens, and you're like, damn it, this roll sucked. I want to cash it in and roll again. So you cash in your divine favor that way. And you can have up to 3 at a time, like you see on the screen. There's 3 little ones that you can take.
It's by my name. Look at my little eyeball.
Jeez.
It's looking at you.
It sees you. It knows what you've done.
Yep. And for right now, the only way to gain it is by doing an offering like that in the name of Asteria. And you can get up to 3. And Madame Rava does warn you that this divine gift will be gone in 24 hours' time. So you do have to use it or lose it.
Okay.
All right.
Good to know.
And she kind of reaches out, like with palm up this time, like she wants to take your hand.
Kenopsia will put his hand palm down in her hand.
All right. So she kind of smiles at you for a second and is like, I know you will serve the goddess well. Together, we have much work to do. But I'm glad to have met someone who I feel is up to the task. And she kind of gives you a
You're
little
in
shake.
good hands. Yeah, he He shakes her hand, and I think it's the first time that Kay really smiles at. Like he's shown emotion before, and like incredulous, confused, maybe a little miffed, but this is the first time he's actually like smiled at her. Yeah, and he'll shake her hand and just, well, to our victory in a serious name.
And she gives you a little nod and kind of looks over at Rinverhi.
Oh, my turn, or holds up the wineskin like, did you once?
And she's looking
Trying
at
to
you.
play nicely with him.
I know, and she's like, yes. Let me see the sword that you possess.
Don't worry, it'll be over before you know it, Madam Rava. And Kay just does like a little wink towards Rinverhi, just play along, it's okay. I don't mean anything by it.
Bran offers to like hold the wineskin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Rin sees Bran and is like, oh, thank you. One last sip, hands it over, and then unbrandishes the long sword, the flaming long sword. And
should Rinverhi take the chair? Is it his turn for a nice sit down?
And she kind of bows. Yep.
And he'll go sit with the sword in hand.
Yeah, Kay will get up out of the seat and like do a little like after you gesture.
Why, thank you.
Thank you. And like Kay will take a few paces back, but he'll linger nearby the chair. Just in case it gets scary and Rinverhi needs someone to hold his hand.
Aww.
So you go to sit down in the chair, and you've got the flaming sword with you, and you notice that Alexi kind of steps up to help you get it situated on the table again now. And as you guys are getting settled in, you are you tell me how surprised you are that Alexi kind of takes your hand that's holding the handle of the sword and then runs his hand over the top of the blade, and it extinguishes.
Oh yeah, so like Rinverhi, like when Alexi approaches to help him with the sword, Rinverhi's like, "Oh, I have it. It'll burn." Oh, and then watches it be extinguished, and like gives Alexi a strange look, like, "What did you do?"
And he kind of claps you on the back for a second, and then just gives you one of these like pow, and then just backs up.
Just. That didn't answer my question, all right? Just holding the sword.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Okay. So 11.
11. Okay. So you're not really getting a super strong sense here, but you do realize like he's confident, like he knows something you don't, and you're like, you just have the slightest inkling of like, is this guy like part of what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
Because we don't have like anything in common.
Yeah, exactly. And that feeling of like, oh, he knows more than I do. Like very strong, because Rinverhi doesn't know anything right now. So it's like, all right, he winked at me. Very confident. I will not fight about it.
So, Madame Rava starts doing her thing. The crystal ball is glowing all sorts of different colors and shining again in it. And she starts trembling a little bit and is really focusing on the blade and kind of cracks a smile a little bit and is like, the Dawnbringer. This is a very special sword indeed. We could tell from the look of it that it would be of great power. But it was odd at first to see why this power connected to you, Rinverhi. You are clearly not exactly the most robust specimen we have seen.
All right, we don't have to resort to insults right now.
But the sword serves purposes twofold. Not just based on strength, not just based on athleticism, but the sword is also a master of the healing arts. With this sword, you can channel the healing powers already inside you and increase them using the power of the DreamScape. And this has a list of information, of stuff you can do on there. But essentially, you can, use charges in it to, cure wounds, do lesser restoration, or mass cure wounds. And the sword regains a number of charges every day, and it's up to you to keep track of how many you're using and for what. Because you can't do everything, but you can do some things multiple times. It's just how you decide to use it.
Nice.
But Madame Rava says to you, but the light of this sword is precious. It is a gift from the deities themselves. Should this truly be extinguished, like we have basically turned it off right now, but should it truly be extinguished, it will be an ordeal to relight. So do not let this flame perish.
What could extinguish it?
The sword can be commanded not to have flame, which is what Alexia has done. But if the sword is soaked in water, covered in snow, or is put in a place where it is smothered, buried underground, the light can go out. So you must be careful not to let the light go out. It will take a lot to make it go out, mind you. It is very, very hot.
Don't I know it?
But you must be careful with it. Now.
It's been very precious to me. I will look after it.
I am glad you have cared for it. I know my brother is as well, because he is very much connected to the deity we suspect this blade to be from. A deity which, again, I am surprised chose you, but it's not my place to question the gods.
Can you not?
And she kind of starts, her hands start trembling again, her eyes go all white. The fire kind of dies down for a second. Everything gets dark around you, and everyone's kind of transfixed on that crystal ball. The adventure continues in the next exciting episode of Pristine Dreams. Thank you for listening. Visit us on our YouTube channel at D20 Dreamland. Leave us a review, like, share, and subscribe to catch the rest of the adventure. Until next time, sweet dreams.